I used to have nothing. And then I got this job. This family. But nothing lasts forever.
I heard you had to leave in a hurry.
It's never easy these days.
So what are you going to do?
I've lived a lot of lives, but I'm done running from my past.
I know you're out there.
I know you know I'm out here. So we're gonna talk like grown-ups?
Is that what we are?
It's good to see you too, sis.
What brings you home?
We have unfinished business. We have to go back to where it all started.
Lucky us.
One thing's for sure. It's gonna be a hell of a reunion.
Still fits. Family. Back together again.
You got fat.
Hey guys, what's up? John here with another video. Today, we are doing a quick breakdown of the Black Widow teaser trailer, which came out earlier on today. Now, first things first, my first opinions of it, because I'm going to go straight into the breakdown after this, but my first opinion of it looks amazing. Definitely the perfect film to start with Phase 4. And like people are saying Phase 4 is the next stage in the Marvel Universe. I see it as sort of taking out the old and in with the new. I know Avengers Endgame and Infinity War and Phase 3 was sort of that. But let's face it, it wasn't. You know, it was bringing in new characters and things like that. This Phase 4 is bringing in new characters, bringing in the new, taking out the old. That's what Phase 4 is. And this is the perfect thing. Black Widow, her first solo movie, is definitely 100% solely to close her story and make an epic conclusion for her character. Not like Endgame did, where it just killed her off. This is actually ending her character properly. And I'm going to say I'm very much looking forward to it. So let's get into the breakdown.
I used to have nothing. And then I got this job. This family. But nothing lasts forever.
Now, in this first clip, we have Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, saying a few lines from Avengers Endgame, including, "I used to have nothing." And then it flashbacks to the Red Room, little flashback to Age of Ultron, which could be referencing... So this can be seen either way. So it could be seen as her saying, "I used to have nothing," you know, before I became an Avenger. But it could also be, "I used to have nothing before I became a KGB agent, before they took me in. Then I've got this job," and it's a flashback to Avengers when she turns around on the helicarrier looking at, I think it was Chris Evans' Captain America and Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner. So that could be referring to S.H.I.E.L.D. and an Avenger, but once again, it could also be her saying, "Before I became, you know, and then I got this job as a KGB agent." Then she says this family. Now then it flashbacks to Hawkeye and Avengers Assemble, the first one, and it also flashbacks to Nick Fury from The Winter Soldier, And this could again be a reference to, because in Avengers Endgame she said these lines about the Avengers. Now here she could be talking about both the Shield that she's been with, Shield, which she's been helping and working for years, and or the KGB. And there's a lot of family reference in this. And this could bring a lot to her character, because family is a big deal to her. Because after her death in Avengers Endgame, Tony Stark said, did she have any family? And no, she didn't, other than the Avengers themselves. So again, family is a big deal to Natasha. So this is a huge thing for her character, and I'm not surprised this is what the her film is based off. Then she says, nothing lasts forever. And this is another reminder that in Avengers Endgame she did die, as in it didn't last forever. And that could also mean, again, family. So her KGB family didn't last forever. She moved on to S.H.I.E.L.D. Her S.H.I.E.L.D. family didn't last forever after Winter Soldier, and they got took over by Hydra. I know they got took over by Hydra before, but the reveal was in Winter Soldier. She then became an Avenger full time, and then she obviously died in Avengers Endgame. So, a lot of reference to family and losing things. In Civil War, which this is set after, she also lost her family in that because, well, the Avengers are broken up at that point. So that's all I got for this one. On to the next clip.
I heard you had to leave in a hurry.
It's never easy these days.
So what are you going to do?
Now, the second clip starts with the Marvel logo becoming Black Widow's logo. And it looks amazing. It's our first view of not really the Phase 4 Marvel logo, but the Marvel logo in Phase 4. Now, it includes Thunderbolt Ross asking Black Widow or Natasha, saying that, oh, you had to leave in a hurry. And that could be a reference to Civil War and the fact that she's on the run. She then answers back saying that it's never easy these days, which could be referring to the fact that she's been running away from everything all her life, and that it's becoming a little bit more difficult now that she's a bit of a more public figure rather than a spy. And then she said, it is difficult for Black Widow because she's had a life as a KGB agent, then S.H.I.E.L.D., then Avenger. Now she's more famous than ever before, and it's sort of backfired on her a bit. And then we also see Thunderbolt Ross, who looks to be de-aged in this film. Now, that's quite interesting, since this is shortly after Civil War, and the gap between Civil War and Avengers Infinity War was 2 years. Now, that means Thunderbolt Ross would have, within 2 years, gone from his normal age to younger to older. So clearly, this is a flashback, okay? Because there's no other way around it. There was a thought that I had that it could be because of gamma radiation. Maybe he's turned himself to Red Hulk, and that sort of de-aged him a bit. Made him a bit younger and stronger. And that could still be the case, except that in Avengers Infinity War, he did not look like that. So, either if that is the case, then obviously the gamma radiation would have had to stop working, or maybe it's just ran out, or maybe it was just a temporary thing, or maybe this is set after Infinity War and Endgame, or again, this is a flashback. He then asks what she's going to do. Now this could be asking what she's going to do after Civil War. Is she still going to be on the run? Is she going to actually turn against the Team Stark? Or is maybe Ross helping her? Is Ross asking her, what are you going to do now? As in, how are you going to escape your past? And her past could be catching up to her in the shape of the form of Taskmaster, So maybe he's actually trying to give her advice. Maybe he knows that, yes, she's a wanted criminal, but obviously maybe he sort of thinks, well, you know what, I need to help you somehow. Maybe he's involved somehow. Maybe he wants Black Widow to stay alive. Maybe she has information, or maybe Taskmaster's asked her something and Ross needs to sort of put down his sort of, let's say metaphorical gun, stand down and let her be, help her out a bit. But that's enough for that one. Next clip.
I've lived a lot of lives, but I'm done running from my past.
I know you're out there.
I know you know I'm out here. So we're gonna talk like grown-ups?
Is that what we are?
In this third clip, we have Black Widow saying that she's lived a lot of lives as she holds a bunch of fake IDs. Now, interestingly enough, one of these could be Natalie Rushman, who was her fake ID, her fake identity in Iron Man 2. Now, this could show that she's lived a life where she's not been able to be herself. You know, she's been running away from her past. And now she even says that she's done running away from it. And this is when she comes into a sort of apartment and she meets Yelena Belova. Now, she is another KGB agent, and Black Widow, Yelena says that, I know you're there, and Black Widow says, I know you know I'm there. To show how connected they are. You know, they've been training together for so long, they sort of know each other really well. And this is shown as when Yelena reveals herself through the doorway as Natasha looks back at her, and it looks like they are actually mirrored. Black Widow then says, can we act like grown-ups here and talk like grown-ups? And Yelena says, is that what we are? Now, this could just be a throwaway line, just like, oh, is that what we are? But it could also mean that because they were taken at very young ages, that they never had the chance to transition into adulthood. So they don't actually feel like they've actually lived a proper life. So by Yelena saying, is that what we are? Are we grown-ups? They feel like they've had that sort of taken away from them, and that in fact they're not grown-ups, they're more like weapons for the KGB. Anyway, enough on that. Next clip.
It's good to see you too, sis.
What brings you home?
Okay, now we have our first fight scene in Phase 4. Now, this looks as interesting as they come, because as they both fight each other, they sort of mirror each other. The first move is that Yelena grabs Natasha's gun, as well as Natasha grabbing Yelena's gun, and they both switch guns in mid-battle. And this is really interesting, because obviously they've both been trained together, and in the comics, they in fact have a very close relationship. In the comics, they were always equal. They never bested each other. They were never one better than the other and blah, blah, blah. And this really shows that they do mirror each other. Then Black Widow, Natasha, calls Yelena her sister, which shows, again, the family aspect of the film. And Yelena then asks why she's come home, and Widow looks at Yelena. Now, this could be the big reveal that Taskmaster is back. Now, I don't know what's happened in this film. I don't know how this film is going to work. I don't know anything. But my theory is that maybe Taskmaster is a big part of their lives in Budapest, as we saw in the very first clip that I've shown you. The first image you see is of a city, which is Budapest. Now, you get to see Budapest a few times during this trailer, but I think maybe Taskmaster has something to do with Budapest. And later you will see a clip of Taskmaster, and I will explain a bit more there. But yeah, Taskmaster may be after her family, or maybe, hunting someone, or maybe after something. And to combat Taskmaster, she can't rely on the Avengers, because the Avengers are broken up. So she's had to bring back her old family. So when Yelena says, why have you come back home? Probably to Russia, or maybe to Budapest. It looks like it's in Budapest, this little clip. She could then say, Taskmaster is back, which could then bring the family together to fight a common evil. Now we're going to move on to the next clip, which looks absolutely amazing. Hope you enjoy.
We have unfinished business. We have to go back to where it all started.
Lucky us.
One thing's for sure. It's gonna be a hell of a reunion.
Okay, so this clip shows Black Widow in her new armor. Now, this armor looks obviously really sleek, but a bit bulkier. And this is probably because it's got more weapons and gadgets, which sort of link back to her KGB sort of life, where she's had, obviously, you know, a lot of training, a lot of gadgets, a lot of, you know, she's got to be a lot more, what's the word? You know, she's got to have a lot more things on her, weapons to protect herself, to complete the task at hand. And this is probably given to her after she's met back with her family. You know, they probably all geared up, went back to an old KGB base or maybe, I don't know, geared up, upgraded themselves, got better stuff to fight Taskmaster with. Because, let's face it, Taskmaster is a very, very, very scary guy. And obviously Black Widow then says that they need to go back to where it all started, which could be to investigate who Taskmaster is. Maybe they don't know who Taskmaster is. Maybe she found a clue about Taskmaster that links back to Budapest, and she's sort of, you know, trying to figure out her past. She then also, you can see her with a white suit, which could possibly be for camouflage in the snow. Once again, more geared up, you know, more weapons, things like that. You know, a lot more suited to, like a soldier sort of thing. A lot more suited to that. There's also a room full of women with guns. Now, this could be all the new Black Widow recruits in the Red Room. Or maybe they had to go back to the Red Room to get something or kill someone. I don't know. They go back to the Red Room or go back to their base, and clearly these new Black Widow recruits, these could be villains. They could be trying to stop them from doing something. Maybe they're just trying to finish the KGB Red Room program altogether. You do see Taskmaster with a bow and arrow as well in the scene. This links back to the fact that, you know, he's got a lot of weapons and he's very tactical and things like that. That's the word I was trying to use before. But it could also be a hint that Hawkeye could make an appearance in this film. Now, this could be Taskmaster during Budapest, or this could be Taskmaster now. I don't know. But the fact that Taskmaster has a bow and arrow could be that Hawkeye makes an appearance, which is why I reckon that this is in Budapest, not in present day, because present day would mean that he's broken his deal with the government to stay with his family. So I reckon this is in the past, or maybe Taskmaster went to the farm and fought Hawkeye. And this is where Taskmaster mimics his archery skills to be good with a bow and arrow. You see Milena appear. In the comics, she is KGB and went through the Red Room, I think, about 5 times. And she seems to be the mother of this family and the leader, you know, the brains of the organization. Out of Natasha, Red Guardian, Alexis, I can't remember his last name, and Yelena, I don't know, I mentioned her, but yeah. So she seems to be the mother. The group seems to bust Red Guardian out of a prison, or a gulag, which is Russian prison sort of thing. There are a lot of casting for prisoners in gulags and things like that, so I reckon that, you know, that's probably why. You then see Red Guardian try on his mask and show his muscles in the mirror, which could be him sort of testing out his muscles to see if he really still has the super soldier serum, or maybe the super soldier serum has been plugged back into him. I don't know. Anyway, let's go on to the final clip, and I will then explain this to you. And believe me, the next clip is mind-blowing.
Still fits. Family. Back together again.
You got fat.
So with the final clip, we have Alexis, Red Guardian, putting on his suit. Now, it looks very similar to Captain America's suit, but obviously, you know, he's a Russian version, so his suit's red. Actually, I will say, I really, really like Red Guardian's suit. It's one of my favourite suits I've seen. Definitely better than Captain America's suit in Avengers 1. I'd even say it's equal to maybe his Winter Soldier one. I'm not too, you know, it's my opinion. I like his suit. But the fact that he says, oh, it still fits, shows a long passage of time. So clearly, the time that they last all met and the last time he's put the suit on, you know, shows how long it's been, shows how great this family reunion is. Now, Alexis seems to be the father of the family, while Milena, I think I called her Yelena before. If I did, I'm sorry. The black-haired woman, not the blonde-haired woman. The blonde-haired woman is Yelena, and I think the black-haired woman is called Melina. Very confusing, Melina. So she seems to be the brains and the mother, while Alexis, Red Guardian, seems to be the brawns and the father. And there is a bit of a cute joke about him putting weight on and blah, blah, blah. And that's the relationship. Melina and Alexis seem to have that mother-father relationship, you know what I mean? Not mother-father, sorry, wife-husband sort of relationship. Which is really nice. There is a part where Alexis fights Taskmaster, but the attacks are blocked, and they seem to be quite equal. And this shows Taskmaster's ability. His ability is what's it called? Photographic reflexes, that's it. So he can watch a person move and fight, and he can copy the attacks, which is probably why he's able to fight Alexis in this way, you know, fight him equally and blah, blah, blah. And it shows Taskmaster as a really good enemy in this, as he literally is fighting a group of people who fight. Not like Iron Man, not like Thor. They fight like people. They're humans who fight. You know, and the fact that he can copy those attacks and things like that shows how formidable he will be. There is a part where the Russian base looks to explode, and Black Widow seems to be jumping off somewhere with soldiers after her. Now, I think these are separate clips, because it looks like she jumps from this sort of platform or a cliff, and then when she's flying down with debris all everywhere, it looks like she's skydiving. Now, this could be off a cliff. It could be off a cliff or that platform. But I will be honest, it looks too open. There doesn't seem to be anything around. You know, like the edge of the cliff or anything. It literally just seems like she's falling through the sky. So I think she does jump off a cliff at one point. But I think when she's skydiving, she's jumped off a plane, or maybe a plane crash. Because before, when you saw her with her armor, there is a plane crash in the background, so it could be that. Now, the cliff diving is quite funny, because you know that she cliff dived in Endgame, but obviously she didn't land. And obviously, but this way, you get to see her cliff dive and land. And I thought that was just a funny callback right there. Now, the enemies chasing her could be Taskmaster's men, could be KGB, or both. Maybe even S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, but I'm not too sure. And the title shows her walking down the same corridor she did in Age of Ultron, where she was rolled on that hospital bed through the corridor, and those children were there, where she had the operation, which stopped her from having children. And yeah, it's quite sad, but the fact that she's now walking down this hallway rather than in her armor, rather than being wheeled down, taken, she's choosing to go down that corridor, and she's choosing to fight her past. And this really shows a good depth to her character. So yeah, that's the whole trailer. I hope you guys did enjoy. I will just quickly talk about the IMDb part just now. So yeah, just quickly about the cast. So we have clearly Natasha Romanoff, Yelena, Tony Stark's in it, which is quite interesting. I'll go into that. Melina, Alexei, Ross, Mason, Rick Mason, who is a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. We have prisoners, Gulag inmates, Russian soldiers, KGB, SWAT teams, prison riot guard. You know, a lot of Gulag, inmates and riot guards and prisoners and stuff like that. And there is a lot of this in this film, so it seems to be quite criminally, filled. Filled with criminals. And obviously Tony Stark's in it, which is very, very interesting. Obviously it's not confirmed, but it could be a little cameo on a TV talking about Tony Stark has now remade the Avengers facility to the Avengers compound or something like that. I don't know. But as you can see, there was a guy named Mason who is casted, and he is a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who is an ally and a romantic interest for Natasha. So we will really see a lot of Natasha's past and her life. This will really be her film, and it will really mark an end to her character and, be a good tribute to her sacrifice in Avengers Endgame. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. Hope you did enjoy. If you have any questions or want to know anything about the Black Widow movie, please ask. If I don't know the answer, then, I could do a video on it. It'll be great to see what you guys think of the trailer. And if you are really excited for this is the first Phase 4 film, the next stage, the next saga. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe as well, and comment down below anything you want. Okay, goodbye.